discourse as I told you earlier. And now let us look into some famous personalities actually who have other things actually. Look at this. People like Bollywood stars who actually also have a good food practices. Let me start with Akshay Kumar's daily chart, food chart. Look at this. You can figure it out from yourself. Okay. Take a minute to read this and then we'll move on. So what the reason I'm telling is whether we start with prime minister or a cricketer and all, health is important and nutrition is equally important, and that's exactly the reason why I mean showing you the example so that we will get into our examples. Okay, take a minute to read this on yourself. And why I will showed you the example Akshay Kumar, one star actually that is true of any other celebrity. You actually have to maintain a lot of fitness for their both role and profession. Okay, and here is another example where actually look at this. If you are a fan of somebody and all, actually this is what they take on a day-to-day basis. And the reason why I'm showing you is very simple. Everybody, no matter what is their status, profession, and all, they have recognized the importance of health and maintaining it. And the only royal way to maintain that is actually a proper diet. Okay. Now we will move on to the our module. Okay. So building healthy lifestyles for a better future. Okay. Developing a healthy diet for a good health actually prepare most of your meals at home using whole or minimally processed food. So one of the what we call the consequences of modernization is actually we are depending more and more on actually processed food. Which this is actually not a very good thing to happen because what they say is processed foods actually are less in nutrition and more in taste, and people go by the for the taste. Okay, so one of the suggestions for the prepare most of your meals at home using whole or minimally processed food. Choose from a variety of different proteins to keep. As I told you, our Prime Minister, I showed you here actually. Now he starts with a protein-rich thing. Okay, now this is very important. Okay. So, and you should also start with each with a eating plan. Look at I showed you earlier already here. Okay. Now it is better that you start with a plan, diet plan, whatever it is. Actually, you have to have a very planned one. That means you should know these are the nutritions that I'm taking on day-to-day basis. Okay. And choose recipe with plenty of vegetables and fruits. See, natural food or what they say actually, green food is very important that you should be considering. Your goal is to fill half of your plate with vegetables and fruit every meal. That means you eat cooked food, but in addition to that, you also have to focus on vegetables and and other things. I mean, other fruits and all. Choose brightly colored fruits like vegetables each day. Brightly colored would mean like something like beetroot or something like that. Okay. Avoid sugary drinks and instead drink water. Low fat, unsweetened milk is also a good way to stay hydrated. Eat smaller meals more often. Eat at least 3 meals a day with snacks in between. So, what is recommended is actually eat something and give a gap of 2 hours and then eat something. So, roughly, you will have about six servings every day on this one. So, and when you are actually cooking and all, also you are asking somebody to cook also, use healthy oils like olive and canola or okay, or cooking oil or for cooking. And you try to use as much natural food, that means as much as in form for foods like greens and vegetables and other things. Okay. Fruit and vegetables are very important. A wide variety of fruits and vegetables should be eaten properly, preferably 5 or more servings should be eaten per day. Bread and pasta and other cereals and potatoes is also very important. And if you are a non-vegetarian, meat, fish are also are alternatives. And if you are vegetarian, then milk and dairy products can actually make up for what you miss in meat and fish and alternatives. To help people to make their diet plans easy, there is something called food pyramid. The food pyramid is a visual representation of how different foods and drinks contribute towards the healthy balanced diet. The food pyramid allows individuals the flexibility to choose foods and drinks from each of the shelf depending on their preferences. For example, you can start from here. Actually, bread, cereal, rice, and pasta group. Actually, you can have 6 to 11 servings here. That means depending on what you like, you can take that. Fruit groups. These are the fruits included in this. You can take 2 to 4 servings. Okay. Similarly, vegetables, 3 to 5 servings depending on what you want. These are the means recommended one, or actually are the suggested one, like milk and all. So this you can actually use it as a basis for making your decision. So any one fruit you can choose from this, any vegetable from you can choose this, any of this item that you can choose. And the reason why it is there, actually, if you are carrying this card anywhere, you can actually refer this and choose the food item that you want to have on a particular day or a particular meal. Tips. Okay. Healthy diet for good health. Eating lots of vegetable and fruit. This is something of a repeated thing. So people now actually are against using any processed food or even cooked food. Natural food is one that, and one of the best natural food is actually vegetable and fruit. Choosing whole grain food. So this is what it is. Means actually whole grain foods include whole grains, bread and crackers, brown or white wild rice, oatmeal and hulled barley. Okay. And many of these items may not you get in your surroundings, but then actually there will always an equivalent for that. On the right side, actually, I show you a photo where actually it gives you a very balanced diet. For example, fruits and vegetables should be of 40%, and fiber-rich carbohydrates is about 25%, protein is about 25%, and fats and all actually about 10%. So what it means is actually maintaining a health is actually a daily concern. You have to have some kind of a plan. You cannot go randomly and choose a food item and hope for a good health. Eating, second important requirement is actually protein. Protein is actually a kind of a thing that builds your body. It replaces many of the worn out parts of the body. For that reason, it's very important. And here it is actually there is a measure also. You need to have at least 2,200 to 2,500 calories of the energy that is available for you every day. Protein foods include legumes, nuts, seeds, and tofu fortified by soya beans and other things. You can take a minute to read everything here, but meanwhile, actually, I'll talk about right side. So some of the times they suggest to actually start with 9 a.m., then take something at 11 a.m., then 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. As I told you, if you can have between 5 to 6 times a food intakes with a with a what we call with a spread of or with a break of 2 hours in between that. Okay, so you can kindly read this for yourself. I will give you a minute or two. So then the next thing actually some minimally processed food. Okay, when you can't avoid completely processed food, but you can say avoid completely processed food like burger and all. But there are other minimally processed food actually that also you can use, but they should be some in everyday foods are okay. These foods that are slightly changed in some way but contain few industrially made additives. Minimally processed food keep almost all of their essential nutrients. See, food is taken for two things. One is for taste and for the nutrition. So sometimes people confuse that food they take for only taste and they miss the nutrients. That don't have to happen. You have to take care because if you are taking a minimally processed food, this is what actually happens. You will get your essential nutrients. Some examples are bagged salad, frozen vegetables and fruit, eggs, milk, cheese, okay, flour, and other things actually you can read for yourself. Okay, so that means apart from actually vegetable and fruits, another important thing that you should be looking at is actually the minimally processed food. That means try to take as much as natural food, and then you go to minimal, and then finally for the other one. And when these minimally processed foods are, you should be taking care of their preservation and also see that those items are not expired and such requirements. Now that food has been told about, I mean, food regarding food, everything has been told. Now we'll be talking about drinks. That means water. I mean, body needs water because the hydration process. So make water your drink of choice. That means every time you feel of drinking something, instead of coffee, tea, probably you can go for water. You take 3 minutes to understand the importance of water. Water supports health and promotes hydration without adding calories to the diet. And the remaining points actually you can read for a minute, and then I will move on. And many of the people actually suffer certain medical condition because they take less of water. And a recommended dose of water is actually anything between 4 to 6 liters per day. Okay. Now that we have told you health is important, diet is also very important, and there are dietary restrictions or suggestions regarding natural food and semi-processed or the half-processed food and all, and the importance of water. Now we'll be talking about benefits. Okay, what does actually the good health actually give you? A healthy diet helps you to protect against malnutrition in all its forms, as well as non-communicable diseases. So the contribution of good diet is not just it keeps you healthy, it will also allow you to fight against any outside attacks. Okay, that means any communicable diseases. Okay, so now you can read the other two things. You take a minute to do this. And one of the good practices actually, you eat whatever that you want on a particular day, but try to spend the energy produced by that food. Okay, any storage in your body actually leads to what we call obesity and other things, and that is what to be avoided. So one of the problems, once you enter your late 20s, early 30s, and all, obesity. That means you seems to be eating more than actually what you are spending, and that savings actually creates a lot of problems. Okay. So if you have any specific question at this point of time, you can hold on. I can answer your questions. Take a minute. So now let us have some formal definition of what food is all about and what does it actually do. Does for actually food is the means that nourishes the body. So the first contribution of food actually it nourishes. That means it will supply you the things that you need. For example, you need protein, it will give you. If you need calorie, it will give that. Food may be also defined as a substance or eaten or drink. So food can be either solid or a liquid, which meets the needs of energy, bodybuilding, regulation, and protection of the body. So energy for everybody. Bodybuilding depending on your age. For example, a newly born kid is actually growing, so that means the bodybuilding feature of that is more. Or you may be an athlete, or you may be a wrestler, then you are building your body. And regulation and protection of the body. So for most people, actually, it is energy and the regulation and the protection. But certain people, depending on your age, it could be bodybuilding or it's growing part of your time. Food is the material from which our bodies are made. So actually, proteins are also part of our body. We have a protein in our body. Okay, so that means we also take additional proteins to maintain and carry on our activities. Eating right kind of food in right amounts ensures good nutrition and health. So you can take like a food, any nutritious substance that people or animals eat or drink that plants absorb in order to maintain life and growth. So essential idea of food is to you keep, I mean, that will keep you alive. But that one, having said that, it also gives you the nutrients that are needed either to maintain your existing body or actually to help you grow that. So nutrition is the one which gives you the value for that food. Actually, you can eat anything, but you eat those things actually which will help you out. So kindly you can go through this reading, I mean, read this slide and try to understand what it is. And if you have any specific clarification that want, I can give you. So nutrition is actually a part which says what you should eat in what quantities. The reason very simple. The science of nutrition deals with what nutrients we need. That means what does my body need and in what quantity. and how to get them and how body utilizes them. All this science is built. For example, if you eat protein, what will happen? If you eat fat, what will happen? If you drink water, what would happen? For example, if you drink enough water, then it will help you for hydration. If you eat protein, then actually it will actually make your many of your part of your body active, including memory and all. Similarly, if you eat fat, actually it puts load on your digestive system. Okay. So for that reason, actually adequate and optimum amount of good nutrition. That means you should have on the right quantities at right times. That is the whole message of nutrition. So nutrition is the science of how the body uses food that studies the interaction between living organisms and food. And nutrition is defined as the food we eat, air we breathe, water we drink, supplements that we ingest, and all that we need literally to feed and or nourishes the body for its own health benefit. So one is the reason why you eat because you want to live. But then healthy living would mean different health, which actually defined by nutrition. And nutritious food actually decides what to eat and what is the thing that eaten helps you in what quantities. Any body, like any healthy body, will have a nutritional status. It is like, see, it is status means actually the current existing state. So you can read about this actually nutritional status, state of the body as a result of food consumed in their utilization by the body. For example, see, actually we have blood and we have to maintain blood at a certain level. Okay, and blood has something called hemoglobin. So whenever you go to a medical test and all, they will actually test your blood and say that hemoglobin level is this. Maybe they will 7, 11, 13, 14. Okay. So those numbers actually indicate the status of your health, your blood, that or its health. For example, if it is less than 7 for male people, that means you are anemic. Okay, that means you don't have enough of hemoglobin. So that is called the status. So nutritional status says that if you are running short or if you are lacking hemoglobin, then you start eating green items like green vegetables and all, and you will make it up over a period of time. So that's exactly what is nutritional status. And this is true of many other things. For example, your sugar level is this, your salt level is this, your other parameters are like this. All this is actually decided by nutritional status. Kindly go through this once again. Okay. So when they say actually they will give you a status, for example, okay, your hemoglobin level is good enough, enjoy that. Or it is fair, but you take care that you maintain at this level. Or it is poor, then do certain remedial things to get back to the normal state. But I told you, if your hemoglobin level is 7, then actually you have to take it up. So read this. Okay, for example, again, if your skin has some problem, then they say, okay, you have to take vitamin D and all. So essentially what it means, body needs different food items for different purposes, and the lack or more of this actually reflected in those part of the body. For example, hemoglobin level decides the health of your blood and other things. Okay, and you can look at here, nutritional status. Kindly go through this again. Just have a look at this. Okay. So nutrition is what you need to eat in what quantities. Nutrient status is the current status of of a particular state body or body element, whether it's sugar, blood, and all, and whether it's good enough or if it is not good enough, what action to be taken. Now, another serious danger is called malnutrition. Malnutrition is actually taking nutrient atoms less in quantity than actually what is needed by the body. So, malnutrition is undeserved kind of nutrition leading to ill health. That means you eat less and less of iron-oriented, iron-containing things, then actually you end up with a less hemoglobin. So, that is called a malnutrition. Okay, so please read this malnutrition. So what results actually malnutrition is the lack and excess of or imbalance of nutrients. That means you are eating too much of sugar, that will cause a problem. If you are eating less of sugar, then that will also cause problem. So balance is the term which is very important. Balanced diet. Okay. It includes both under and over nutrition. Undernutrition is a state of insufficient supply, and malnutrition can be primarily due to undernutrition or secondary to error in the metabolism. The interaction between nutrients and the nutrients drugs used in the treatment. Okay, what actually happens is maybe you are living in a particular part of the world where actually there is no enough food production or enough healthy production, then also that can lead into malnutrition. Or you actively or consciously or unconsciously you seems to be avoiding certain food, and that is also causing problem. See, one of the usually problem that we find in most of the Indians actually is anemic. Anemic is a state actually your hemoglobin level will come less, and that would cause some problem. So that is a kind of a state due to malnutrition because people have ignored or actually missed eating certain things which could have maintained the hemoglobin level. Okay. So look here, malnutrition is a great problem in the world today, even including in India. Like if you are going to remote places like Jharkhand and all, you see there are areas actually you see the picture of kids who are suffering from malnutrition. It affects 1 in 3 people in the world over. That means we have 7 billion people, but 2 billion people actually are the victims of malnutrition. One of the other form comes in different forms and shapes. Okay, so what are the reasons for that? I mean, what causes that one? Okay. Stunting. A person is too short for his age. That means he is 7 years, but he looks like a 2 year kid. Okay. Wasting. That means a person is too thin for his height. And obesity is on the other side. That means it is nutrition of a, problem actually he has overeaten that one. So malnutrition is in a state where actually either you are eating less or more of certain things which is needed by the body. Now, the opposite of that is actually overnutrition, and this is actually the problem with the modern world today. That means people are eating too much of processed food and all that is causing this one. So you can just go through this one, overnutrition. Uh, Kindly read for yourself. Now that you know what is nutrition and nutrient, now diet is a plan for you to get those nutrients in right quantities at right time. Okay, please read.